Hitler was a soldier first, but when he left the army, it didn't take him long to become the most powerful man in Germany. So, how exactly did he do this? Well, that's what we'll be looking at today. After being medically discharged from the German army in 1919 for injuries sustained in World War I, Adolf Hitler moved to Munich, where he became involved with a small political party known as the German Workers' Party. Now, the German Workers' Party had been around since 1919, but it wasn't until Hitler joined that it gained any real traction. And why is that? Well, partly because of his military background, he was able to present himself as a strong leader, and this attracted many people in post-war Germany who were looking for someone to blame for their troubles. Hitler also helped the party gain popularity by using propaganda and appealing to people's emotions rather than their intellect. In fact, one of his first acts as a member of the German Workers' Party was to design and deliver a speech that outlined his political platform. This speech, which was titled The National Revolution, presented Hitler's views on a variety of topics, including nationalism, socialism, and while some people may have found his ideas appealing, others were turned off by his aggressive and confrontational tone. But regardless, this speech helped to make Hitler a household name in Germany, and it also gave him a platform to further promote his political agenda. In addition to his political work, Hitler also began to develop his personal brand in Munich. He frequented local bars and restaurants, where he would meet with other members of the German Workers' Party and potential supporters. It was during these outings that Hitler began to cultivate the image of the charismatic leader. In fact, Hitler was very aware of the power of image, and he carefully cultivated a public persona that he believed would appeal to the German people. He was particularly interested in projecting an image of strength and masculinity, and he did this by dressing in a particular style. Hitler favored dark suits and shirts with high collars, which he believed made him look more imposing. He also wore a distinctive mustache that he felt gave him a certain air of authority. Furthermore, Hitler was careful to project an image of confidence and control. He spoke in a loud, booming voice, and he made sure to stand tall and shake hands firmly. He also avoided showing any signs of weakness or vulnerability, and he made sure to always appear in control of the situation. It is no surprise then that many people were drawn to Hitler and his message of strength and power. Unfortunately, however, Hitler's carefully constructed public image was just one of the factors that led to his rise to power. His political ideology and the turbulent state of post-war Germany also played a significant role. So let's talk about those now. While in Munich, Hitler quickly rose through the ranks of the German Workers' Party and eventually became its leader. Under his leadership, the party changed its name to the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party for short. The Nazi Party was a right-wing political party that advocated for the restoration of German pride and power. One of the main pillars of Nazi ideology was extreme nationalism. The Nazis believed that the German nation was superior to all others, and that it was destined to rule over Europe. They also believed that Germany had been unfairly treated in the Treaty of Versailles, which ended World War I, and they sought to overturn the treaty's provisions. Another key aspect of Nazi ideology was anti-Semitism. The Nazis blamed Jews for many of Germany's problems, including its economic woes and its defeat in World War I. They also propagated conspiracy theories about Jewish people, claiming that they controlled the media and the banking industry. And finally, the Nazis believed in a strong centralized government that would impose order on German society. They also advocated for the use of violence and intimidation to achieve their political goals. All of these factors combined to make the Nazi Party a potent political force in post-war Germany. And with Hitler at the helm, the party was able to gain a significant following. Now, it should be noted that while the Nazi Party was gaining popularity, Germany was going through a lot of turmoil. The country was still recovering from the devastation of World War I, and the economy was in sharp decline. In addition, Germany was being occupied by Allied forces, and the country's future was uncertain. This instability made it difficult for any single party to gain a majority in the Reichstag, the German parliament. And this actually led to a period of political fragmentation in Germany. Several different parties held power for short periods of time, but none of them was able to implement their agenda. This created a sense of urgency among the German people, who were looking for a strong leader who could restore order to the country. Enter Hitler. Hitler was able to capitalize on the political instability and economic uncertainty by promising to restore German pride and power. He also appealed to the fears and prejudices of the German people by blaming Jews and other minorities for the country's problems, and this made him a very popular figure in Germany. In 1932, the Nazi Party won the most votes in the Reichstag election, but they still didn't have enough support to form a government. However, Hitler was not deterred. He continued to campaign, and he even went on a tour of Germany in order to rally support for his party. By 1933, the Nazi Party had become the largest party in the Reichstag, and Hitler was invited to meet with President Paul von Hindenburg in order to discuss forming a government. After some negotiation, Hitler agreed to become Chancellor of Germany. This was a significant moment in German history, as well as in Hitler's personal story. Within a year of joining the German Workers' Party, Hitler had become the most powerful man in Germany. However, despite his success, there were still many challenges ahead. Hitler had to contend with powerful opposition, both at home and abroad. But that's a story for another video. So there you have it. That's how Hitler went from being a soldier to the Führer of Germany. It was a combination of his charisma, his political ideology, and the turbulent state of post-war Germany that allowed him to rise to power so quickly. But it's important to remember that this was just the beginning of Hitler's story. In the years that followed, he would go on to lead Germany into World War II, oversee the Holocaust, and commit suicide as his regime collapsed. Hitler's story is a cautionary tale of the dangers of nationalism, anti-Semitism, and authoritarianism. But it's also a fascinating look at one of the most complex and controversial figures in history. Thanks for watching. Now, if you want to know more about Hitler's rise to power, check out this video next. And if you want to learn more about World War II, stay tuned for more videos. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks again for watching.